Okay.
All right.
Okay.
It's
We're ready. We're ready.
The people from Ireland are very, very welcoming to foreign people. Be more open and have a different perspective, and maybe even do different activities that kind of take you off your. It was 4 people in one bedroom. They only make you go at least once a week.
You can do what you like.
Once you have that, everything changes. You're supposed to get your money back. All the money that they took before, you get it back. So it's like it's a fresh start. At least you're not left sleeping on cars like some people have been doing.
Right.
We also have social gatherings outside the company now, so now we're going to go axe throwing.
Axe throwing, wow.
Yeah.
You get used to the rain eventually.
Yes. In summer now it's not raining so much.
Well, it's not raining so much today. But yeah. Okay.
Not so bad.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
So
that was pretty good, I think. The red light wasn't on, I wasn't recording. Hello and welcome to the first episode of the TechJobsIreland podcast, the podcast where we try and bring you all the news and information about coming and working professionally in Ireland. We'll be releasing episodes every month, and I'm going to try and catch up with some successful participants in the TechJobsIreland program to get a handle on how their lives are going now they've built their professional careers in Ireland. And today I'm delighted to welcome as our first guest Paulina Tassinari. How you doing, Pauli?
I'm very good, John. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Good. Not too bad. And the reason I've asked you to join us today is you've been working in Ireland about 7 months now, and you got a professional job last year through the program. So I guess what I'd like to know is, for people out there who might be thinking about coming to live and work in Ireland, first of all, what were your impressions when you arrived here? Was it very different to what you expected?
Yes, I did my own research before coming here because, for obvious reasons, you kind of want to be prepared on what you're going to encounter. But still, when I arrived and I was doing some research on my own on the job positions, the companies, the recruiters, everything, I was very surprised to see how different it is from Argentina and from the things that even the things that I found on the internet about Ireland. It was very, very different. So I kind of found myself a little bit lost because
there were no leprechauns.
They don't have that. Yeah.
Right. Was it the main difference, the lack of leprechauns, or?
Definitely, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was. But again, there's so many people also as well applying for that position that you want. So you're competing with thousands, literally tens of thousands of people. So you're thinking that you have to stand out some way, and all of that is very confusing, especially with all the other things that come with moving to a different country.
Okay. Right. So, so there's a lot of different information, a lot of conflicting stuff. Were there any surprises when you got here in terms of Dublin or life here? You're living in Dublin. Obviously, Ireland isn't just Dublin, though a lot of people from outside the country may think it is. Have you got any advice for people maybe thinking about coming and living in Dublin, especially about what it's like here?
Yes, I think that my most important advice would be to have patience, because when you arrive, you think that everything's going to come out super fast, the papers that you need, renting a house, finding a job. Everyone tells you that it's going to be super fast, that you're just going to arrive and you're going to have a job and you're going to have your papers, and that's a lie, basically. The PPS on its own takes a long time to be processed.
Whoa, hold up,
right.
Pauli. The PPS, throwing that detail in there casually, like we'll all know. What is a PPS and why should we care about it?
Right, so the PPS is a public personal service number, I think
there
it
you
is.
Go, wonderful,
yes,
10 out of 10.
Like that. And it's basically like your identity card for when you're here, your resident card. It doesn't matter if you have, if you come with a newer passport, or if you come with a visa, you still need to get your PPS number. So that allows you to access public service and basically get normally paid at any job. So that's the first thing.
And if you don't have it and you start a job, for example, you get the old emergency tax, don't you? Right?
Yes. So if you start a job and you still don't have your PPS, 60% of your salary is going to be deducted, in a way of encouraging you to get the PPS as fast as you can.
So if you're homesick, don't get a PPS number, and it'll be just like back home in Argentina. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
But seriously, it is important to maybe try and do some of the bureaucracy, the admin tasks, try and get them started early, right?
Yes, definitely.
How long did it take you to get an appointment or
I did
getting your PPS?
I did everything wrong with the PPS, so it took me like 3 months to get it. And 3 months maybe doesn't sound like it's too much, but being 3 months working and like being paid less than the half, and with all the hassle that it comes with not having a PPS, 3 months is a long time. You don't want to go through that.
Right. So get that started day one.
Yeah.
But the kind of catch-22 with that is that obviously you can't just apply for one when you get here.
Right.
You need to have got a job first, right?
And the thing is, funny thing about that is that most jobs won't take you in if you don't have a PPS. But to get the PPS, you need to find a job. So it's
kind of Kafka-esque a little bit. But look, it's a problem everyone encounters. You can get over it, but it's just important to get organized and to make that application. The second you do get a job, if you're starting out working part-time and things like that, and obviously there are some options. You started working out in retail restaurants.
My first job here was actually with a recruiting agency.
Okay, yeah.
So, and then eventually I started, I think I only worked in the recruiting agency for a month, and then I quit and started working in KFC. There are some jobs that are going to take you in without a PPS and are going to help you through the process, but they're not going to be the best jobs, obviously. It's like,
but they're finger licking good.
They're right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that job was actually not that
sure,
bad,
there are, if any job where they pay you in dips and sauce, that's got to be good, right? So, very good. So, you had a couple of different, but look, whatever that first job is, you get the PPS. Once you have that, you can change jobs, you can do what you like.
Once you have that, everything changes. You're supposed to get your money back, all the money that they took before, you get it back. So it's like it's a fresh start. It's important that you try to get it as fast as you can, and to again be patient, because it's gonna take a while. It's not gonna be funny on the process. So.
Right. Well, not hugely hilarious Irish bureaucracy.
Right.
It's not so bad. I mean, things move slowly, but they do move, right? So if you get into the process, and obviously you were in a slightly different situation, but if you are coming in, on a language learner work permit or whatever, and you need to get another thing that needs to do, you have to go and make an appointment with the GNIB, which is the Garda National Immigration Bureau. Once you're already in the country, just to confirm your work permit and visa, right? And these things, unfortunately, there was a scam going on. I don't know, were you aware of this, where it was really, really difficult to get appointments through the GNIB system, and people were, these scammers were making appointments and then reselling them on Facebook. So, look, one thing to watch out for is, don't pay scammers and try not to engage with this. Unfortunately, people were in a situation where it was very difficult to get appointments otherwise. But if you need a GNIB appointment and a PPS, right, those are your first two priorities, to apply for them and to get appointments for them, because that's going to have the biggest impact on your initial move here, right?
Yeah.
What about the demon accommodation? How do you want to tell us your nightmare stories there?
Yeah, another thing about that, I would recommend that if you try to find accommodation before you come to Ireland, because there's a housing crisis right now. There are not many places available. The ones that are available are extremely expensive. You're probably going to have to share a room the first few months, even if you're lucky, maybe not. But it depends a lot on your budget, of course. I think there's possibilities for everyone. I came here initially and I was sharing a room with 3 people, so it was 4 people in one bedroom. Crazy.
Sexy.
But yeah, people, if you leave your dirty clothes on the floor, the whole room smells. It was not the best experience, but at least you're not left sleeping on cars like some people have been doing.
Right. Okay. And we don't want to absolutely terrify people. Well, one thing I would say on accommodation is, especially if you're coming looking for a professional career here, and if you have a professional background like your good self, Pauli, with so many of these jobs working online nowadays, it's not necessary to live in Dublin city centre for a lot of these jobs.
Yeah, I would say that the problem is to find accommodation maybe on the very, very, very own city centre.
Yeah.
Any other areas around, I mean, you have many more possibilities. It gets cheaper even. Mm-hmm. You're gonna have more space. So yeah, it depends on the area, but I mean, you just have to look and you'll.
Yeah, and once if you do, I guess, if you're on a professional jobs track, or you have the option to work in a job which you know, for example, is going to be mostly online. For example, we'll talk a bit more about your job in a minute, Pauli, but you're kind of hybrid working at the moment. You've got like maybe going into the office once a week or so on. So you don't really need to live in Dublin city centre. You just like to show off your wealth by doing so, isn't that it?
Yeah, I wish, but
like burning euros to stay warm. Yeah, like bottles of champagne all day. No, but seriously, you could, and we were discussing this earlier. You know, there's places within kind of an hour commute from Dublin, for example. You know, on the train line. So if you're only need to come into the city,
they're actually way prettier than Dublin.
Oh, very nice. You know, you can have a 3-bedroom house with a garden for the same price. You'd get like half a room in a shoebox apartment. So there are obviously other cities around Ireland as well that are very nice. I don't know if you've been to Galway yet, or
yes, I have.
And that's beautiful, isn't it? Right.
Way more.
And they also have their own little accommodation problems, but relatively speaking, Galway, Cork, Waterford, Limerick, these are places that are much more affordable to live at in Dublin. And as I say, because so many of the professional jobs are going to be at least hybrid, definitely something worth considering. Of course, if people are coming in on for English language programs, there are also schools all around the country, so you're not locked into Dublin city centre. But actually, just on that, so your job now, you're working in IT help desk for a major multinational, and you were totally online initially because it was right after COVID lockdown, basically, and now you're kind of gone hybrid. So tell us about that and tell us about adapting.
So the companies, I mean, overall, we talk about, in my company, we talk about other companies as well. Some of them are asking their workers to go back to the office, but I would say 99% of them are hybrid, as John mentioned. And by hybrid, I mean they only make you go at least once a week. But I mean, some of my companions just go once a month because, again, they live very far away from Dublin or whatever, so they just come once a month, and sometimes not even that.
And can you choose your own day? Is it like
it's totally not a requirement to go. They don't tell you when or how. They just it's like more like a request from the company side to engage a little bit more in person.
Has the phrase touch base been used? Are people coming in to touch base with each other?
Right.
Is this something that's happening?
But the last few times I was in the office, it was basically empty, like not many people go. But I mean, for some people, if you really like to socialize, some people don't like to be locked in home, you got the chance to be on the office. I mean, you can choose to go every day if you want. They're very flexible when it comes to that. They just let you choose whatever suits you best.
And do they have like social events and stuff at your company?
Yes, they do have social events
and
sometimes.
Things like that.
We have like a big team meeting every month, like once a month. So now we're trying to make those in person in the office. So we go to a conference room and we bring donuts.
Break out the wine.
Right. And then we have a little bit of a conversation and we actually get to meet each other face to face.
Right. And so we were talking to you, like you'll meet up for the Christmas party, you meet up for the social event. So it's just for the opportunities to embarrass yourself with coworkers that you come together now physically.
I mean, we also have social gatherings outside the company now. So now we're going to go axe throwing.
Axe throwing, wow.
Yeah, that is
well, that's
scary, I guess.
It's very Celtic. How much beer is going to be consumed before,
I don't know, but it's
wow, axe throwing.
I was never expecting to be in that scenario of throwing axes with my coworkers.
I'd like to be standing behind you while you're throwing axes. I mean, standing behind you wearing some sort of helmet, I believe, but like, I mean, I'm familiar with your work with other medieval implements, of course, but great, axe throwing. Wow. Well, look, like that must be a great company that's giving you the axe throwing experience. But seriously though, I suppose just to touch on something else, you're about the same age as me. So you're 22, right? So we're a similar age. If you squint, and we'll put a filter on me so it'll look believable. But so look, you're a long way from home. It was a big move away from the family and everything else. And look, I know when I did that the first time, I had some trouble adapting, even though I was living somewhere very exciting and it was great and everything else. There is a downside maybe to making that jump. And have you experienced any of that, and how have you maybe overcome that, or what advice would you have for people?
Well, first of all, I guess people deal with homesickness differently. It really depends on your personality and how you. I mean, even in your routine, I will say that the most important thing is to get to know people inside your job, outside your job. You just go to a bar and socialize and be distracted, especially the first few months are the most complicated ones when you're settling in and everything's difficult and complicated and you're just facing so many problems and you miss home, and sometimes you just want to drop everything and just go back home. You don't want to deal with that. So I think it's important to surround yourself with people that are going to be there for you for when you feel like that, and also allowing you to feel that way, because it's normal. Just don't try to suppress it. If you have a bad day, just allow yourself to have it, and then remember that your home is always going to be there. Like you're always going to have a place to go back to, and this is for a better future. So try to think about it that way, I guess.
For sure. And you get used to the rain eventually.
Yes. I mean, in summer now it's not raining so much.
Well, it's not raining so much today. But yeah. No, it is better. And the other thing that I would say is that, and something that you've done, Pauli, that that I think makes a difference is that especially with people living in Dublin and things like this, the temptation can be to kind of self-ghettoize, like, I'm just going to live with people from my country who speak my language. We're all going to live in this apartment. We're all going to go to this nightclub. We're going to, and I suppose a couple of things happen from that. Your English doesn't really improve because, you're speaking Spanish all the time, or Portuguese, or whatever it is. But also then you maybe don't get to adapt or to integrate with the local culture as opposed to if you make at least a couple of local friends or acquaintances that can help sort of get to know the country better, right?
Yeah, I actually see that a lot. Like, it sounds good at first when you come to a very different country with a cultural shock to surround yourself with people from your home country, but I think it doesn't allow you to detach completely. So I think sometimes it affects the homesickness even more. I found myself that when I interact with people from here, from Ireland, or even from other cultures of other countries, it helps you to be more open and have a different perspective, and maybe even do different activities that kind of take you off what you're used to. And again, the English is very important, because I do feel like after being home for a while, like, my English skills go down. So especially if you're like learning English and struggling with the language, I think it's important to force yourself to speak English with the people that you live or work with.
And like English language Tinder is free language advice, possibly dangerous at times. Be careful out there, kids. But look, if you are single, you're loved up. You have your own love interest back in Argentina, and we know all about that. But if you are, and some of our friends and some other people we know are single, if you have the opportunity, if you're single anyway, if you'd be dating, maybe date a local. You'll get to know the country a bit more.
I had a friend who came with absolutely zero English skills, and she started dating an Irish guy, and her English has improved so much, like, in the last 3 months. It's amazing. She's almost fluent already.
She can complain like a local now, right?
Right.
So,
her accent even changed so much. It's crazy.
Okay, well, there you go. I suppose there's no rocket science to it if you make a bit of an effort. And something else that I would highlight to people, we were just talking about the area you live in Dublin, Stoneybatter, which is a really lovely area. But there are a lot of like meetup groups. And if you are going to do these things, like there's a site, meetup.com or whatever, with an Irish page and so on. And my advice would be, if you have an interest, if you're into gaming, people are into different things. If you have an interest, try and get involved with one of these meetup groups. But ideally one that isn't just focused on, say, Argentinians in Dublin or whatever, but let's say, LARPing or gaming or whatever it might be. They have board game nights in some of the pubs and stuff. So I think that's a good way to meet people. That's maybe not just going to a bar. I mean, you don't drink, it's not necessarily, you're great. Do you drive?
Yes.
Brilliant. Well, look, you can bring me to the bar every time, right? So that's my taxi sorted forever, right? But if it's not your thing to necessarily go out and drinking, there are loads of groups, and I think especially since after lockdown, people have made a big effort to try and, like, everybody's social life got destroyed is the thing to remember, right? So it's not just people coming from outside the country. So I think even local people are very open to, you know, new experiences, you know, be it the hiking club or the gardening club or poker night or whatever it might be. There's a lot of things out there, and it's a great way to improve your English and meet some locals as well, yeah?
Yeah, that's one thing to highlight. The people from Ireland are very, very welcoming to foreign people, which is something that you might think it's normal, but it doesn't happen in many countries. I was surprised to see how willing they are to help and to assist you and to be your friends and to... That's a very positive side about it.
We're alcoholics living on a rain-soaked island in the
Right.
North Atlantic. We have to have something good for us, right? We have to be nice to people, otherwise they'd all leave, right? That's it. So, yeah, genuinely, if you need help, you know, and even if you don't, people will offer it typically, I find. So I like to think, obviously there can be exceptions, but in generally speaking, Irish people tend to want visitors and immigrants to the country to do well and to succeed. So, right, any little tips, any little places you've discovered that you've gone, maybe visited, that might be nice for people to go and see since you've come here? I know you went to Killiney Beach there the other day.
Yeah, I was actually like, I was never into hiking or like natural exploring places. But Ireland is very beautiful.
And then Pokemon Go came out.
And then,
was it?
and then that changed.
Wow, I can go outside now. I got an excuse.
Yeah.
Isn't that
but
it?
actually, that changed when I came to Ireland. Ireland is very beautiful. It has amazing places that are very close to the city. I just took a train to Killiney that took me like 15 minutes, and I was on a very beautiful neighborhood with like a beautiful beach and. It's very pretty, so I would say take your chance to go outside to touch grass and like explore. Just go. You don't even have to go that far away, of course. Like always beautiful the south of Ireland as well. But like even in Dublin, there are so many amazing places.
In the Phoenix
outside.
Park is nice, right?
Yeah. Phoenix Park is amazing.
You can go and take another Instagram with the deer, which no one has done before.
No one has done before. You have
and
to
just
feed
make
the
sure to
deers.
feed them illegally because it's illegal to feed the deer. So when you take an Instagram of you feeding the deer, it's like, "Hi, I'm poisoning deer in the park. Look at me." So maybe if you go to the Phoenix Park, look at the deer, enjoy the deer. Don't feed them, please, because you know they'll get fat.
Or do.
They'll be diabetic. You're coming to our country, making our deer diabetic. That's it. Like, you know, at least shoot them and bring them home. Anyway, right. Just for the deer is a controversial topic, but there's Hoth is very nice. I don't know if you've been out there. Hoth, fishing village.
I
there
like it.
and
especially now in summer, I think it's
for sure.
It's even better.
If you can get it like seafood and so on. So there if you like surfing and things like that, there's some great waves in the west of Ireland. That are great, and Ireland genuinely is, you know, a very beautiful place, if sometimes quite a cold and windy place. But you appreciate the days like today when it's quite nice.
Yes,
then, right?
yes, it is today, making it all worth it.
So that's why we decided to stay in and make a podcast instead of going out enjoying the sunshine. But look, I think that about wraps it up. I thank you very much, Pauli, for coming in and telling us about your experience. Living and working in Ireland. Just to end on a hopefully positive note, I take it that, you know, you had some ups and downs and we had dealing with bureaucracy and homesickness and everything else. But
it's good to be prepared for the down things, and that allows you to enjoy the good things better, in my opinion.
And overall, are you happy with your decision to come here?
Yes, I was actually, I mean, when I came here, I was only going to stay for 3 months. Right. So now it's extended to indefinite amount of times. Okay. So yes, it's worth it.
Okay, well, there you heard it here. Thanks very much to Pauli, and thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back monthly with more interviews and talks on adapting to life in Ireland and adapting to professional jobs here. As ever, I'm John Cleary, and this has been the Tech Jobs Ireland podcast. Thank you very much to Paulina Tassinari.
Thank you.
And take it easy, folks. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Not so bad.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That
was pretty good, I think. The red light wasn't on. I wasn't recording.